tuned in today. So today I'm gonna go ahead and replace the clutch assembly on the motor that's going inside the 535 XI single turbo setup. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on. I'm just gonna show the whole process how I'm gonna go ahead and do it, and I'm also gonna remove the pilot bearing also on there, which I thought was gonna be like some easy peasy kind of thing. I'm used to dealing with like automatics and stuff. So now I come to the man, I'm like, what the heck is this? You know, some people are like, oh, use some bread. I'm like, nah, bro, you can't use bread on this thing. So yeah, I went through the whole procedure on how I did that, and I think I got some help from this one video I saw, like, yo, use the grease gun and like the exact part and stuff like that. So I actually showed how I did on mines, but I linked the video that I looked at in the descriptions. But yeah, just yeah. Alright, so we're soon ready right now to go ahead and get this engine in. But first we gotta go ahead and put the clutch in. So I got a DKM clutch, and it's the organic twin. So yeah, so pretty much have right here the manual. So just looked over it, cover and clutches. Looks pretty good. And this is Loctite along with the centering and pilot bearings, all that other good stuff. So I checked already and we have everything here. Alright, so the first thing we'll do, use some of this parts cleaner, clean up the back of this motor a little bit. So just a little spray down. Like so. So I'm gonna go into these depths and just clean up this stuff with the brake cleaner. Took this out of the box and got a better look at it, and like everything is already aligned it up. So make sure to put it back in the same orientation that you see currently, or you might have some more rattling than you actually would do from a setup like this. So yeah, so it's gonna go ahead and take these bolts right here out. So that way I could go ahead and take this apart, so I could go ahead and put the flywheel on. But just making sure to note the orientation of how this was put together right here. Put it the same, take it back off and put it the same way back up there. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so I got the bolts out, and yeah, I just stuck them right here. So the same orientation as the engine, so that way I have a frame of alignment. So I know this one was a top bolt, bottom bolt, the two sides, and two sides here. So it matches up with those holes. So I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible for me to realign this. All right, so over here, got it off, and this is what we have right now. And here's the clutches right there. Well, the first clutch. So I take that one off and set it off to the side. All right, and we got the same thing. I lined it up straight, and then now we have this other part, separator. And go ahead and pull this off, put it off to the side. All right, so that's set to the side, and then we come to the final clutch. So I'll pull this off to the side, and then we'll just have the flywheel piece. All right, so now that we're down to the flywheel, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this area only inside here, like I said, call it the friction surface area. So I'm gonna clean that up with some brake parts cleaner and make sure it's dry, and I'm gonna place it on the engine. Compared to when I sprayed down the engine part, I used a rag here. So I just sprayed the cleaner onto the rag, and then I just wiped along the area to clean it down. Here you can see it's a little bit more shiny and clean. So I have it on the engine right now, and one thing to note is make sure that dowel piece, if you look at the back of the flywheel, when you put it on, you can see which hole to line it up with. If you try to do any other hole, it's not gonna go on, so make sure you know which direction or which hole to line up with a dowel that's on the crank. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and clean this again because I had to touch it, so it didn't even bother make sense me cleaning it from the beginning, because I'm gonna have to go ahead and clean it again. Sprayed some parts cleaner in here on these bolts because I'm making sure that they're clean on the threads. And I'm gonna go ahead and get another rag and pretty much go through each one and make sure they're clean as heck before I put the Loctite on there. Cause yeah, I ain't trying to have no contamination, nothing. All these gonna secure as they should. So I went ahead and I got the bolts. They've been air drying for a minute. And now I'm ready to go ahead and put Loctite 262. Let's make sure you don't use a 243 down here. So make sure you get the right package. 262 is for the flywheel bolts. So yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put like a little bit on the bolt itself, and then tighten them, not tighten them, but like finger loosen them on, and then put them in sequence. So we went ahead and had the bolts in, we torqued them in a crisscross pattern and torqued them onto 80 pound-feet, and that's like 180 Newton meters. I'll socket over the crank right here, and I have a long extension. So right here it keeps the crank from spinning as I'm trying to tighten these bolts down. So I just come over here and have my torque wrench, and then pretty much go in a crisscross pattern across the board, back and forth. And then yeah, so I pretty much got all of these done already. So we should get ready to go on to putting in the next clutch piece right now. Just went ahead and put the first clutch piece in, and now I'm ready to go ahead and almost ready to put this one in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing, get a rag, spray some parts cleaner on there, and pretty much clean up this whole surface right here. So the front and back. So I ain't touching this part, just this part around this donut. So this donut and behind. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe that down, let it dry a little bit, and then pretty much put it on. So got it all cleaned up again, and I made sure that the alignment is still aligned. So we all good right there. So next now just to go ahead and put this top clutch on. Alright, so I got the clutch on, I have the clutch alignment tool. So pretty much what I did was I put the clutch alignment tool on the clutch before I put it in, and then line it up, and then pretty much have it down. And just had the DKM part up here. Yeah, cause that's how it was aligned when I opened the box. So putting everything back exactly how I saw it. So the last surface to go ahead and clean up is the pressure plate. Behind the pressure plate, go ahead and clean this area off right here, and then we could go ahead and put the pressure plate right over the tool and everything. So leave it in the whole time before you go ahead and tighten the bolts around. Right, so now that I have the pressure plate on and I have it aligned up, everything's lined up, I'm gonna go ahead and get the bolts that we initially took off, clean them up same way, some parts cleaner, let them dry, and then put some 243 Loctite on it, take it out here, snap that piece off, and then put them on. So I'm gonna put them in the hole, hand tighten them down like snugly, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go on a crisscross pattern, and I believe it's about, how much? I think it's like 20 or something like that. So pressure plate's on, everything is lined up. We are looking good. So yeah. So right now I can go ahead and pull out this piece right here. You kind of tell if it's on good or you tighten it in an even pattern if you try to take this out and it's loose. Like see, if it's binding or anything like that, it's gonna have trouble going on to the transmission. So make sure you could easily get this in and out. So perfectly aligned, we're good to go. So we finally about to be able to take out this bearing right here. So, and also put back in this. So just came back from Harbor Freight. Picked up a grease gun because I don't have one. Plus this tip right here. I found it on another video that I saw, and it was like, hey, get this tip, get the grease gun, and grease it up. Put it through the hole and squirt. It should just pop right out. So I'm just gonna try this as my first attempt, and hopefully it pulls it out. So I'm just gonna put this together and try and get this out. All right, so got it all primed and we ready to go ahead and start using it. So I'm trying to put it in the hole and squeeze, and hopefully it just pops right out. So I noticed it's not gonna go all the way in. If you see the tip, it's only like the first couple inches right here. Just make sure it's butted up good. That's my impression of how to do it, and it should pop right off. Let's see how this goes. Alright, finally. Alright, see? And it's out. Okay, so it works. The only thing I did different, I tried it first with the rubber hose. I realized it's just me. So it's best to just use it with the metal attachment. And it took me about, let me see, maybe like 10 pumps on this, and it finally just popped. So it might not be as quick as some, but just keep at it and make sure that you don't get the needle out the hole. Alright, so with this out right now, I can finally go ahead and put the new one in. But before I do any of that, I'm just gonna go ahead and clean out all that grease. And I want to clean out the housing a bit too, because it seems like it's never been clean, but I'm gonna try to get it as clean as possible with what I got. So at least get most of this dirt out. So once that's done, put the seal, the bearing back in, and then put this bad boy back in, and yeah, motor should be good to go in now. Alright, so this got a whole lot more interesting. So now that I put it in, try to install it back or whatever, it seems like it's like a lip right here. So I just greased it up a little bit, cause I thought like, oh, I'll just go ahead and push it in. But what I'm gonna try to do is center this up as best as I can. I put some grease on it so it could go in pretty smoothly, and then use a rubber mallet, pop pop, or put a wood or something, and try to knock it in as evenly as possible. So it shouldn't be that much force I need to use, but yeah, I'm gonna try. Alright, so I got it this far. I just used a piece of wood and line it up here, and then I used a rubber mallet, and I made sure to like gently tap it. I took my time because I wanted to make sure this part was perfect, because I don't want to like twist or turn or nothing while it's going in. Make it as straight as possible. What would be even better, I assume, would be if you had like a longer piece of wood or something more connecting, or have somebody hold one side, or two people hold, one person hold one side each, so that way it's like flat, and then one person just hammer it. But I was able to get it, just me alone, but I got it that far, but it needs to go down a little bit more. So now that it's actually straight, I'm gonna use this 13 millimeter, put it over here, and just give it a whack, and we should be good to go. Alright, so I got it in fully pressed now, so we're good to go. And just need to go ahead and grease up the splines. But what I had to do is I swapped out the, what was it, a 13, and I used 11 off this, I got this from Harbor Freight a while back, but this socket worked pretty good, this number 11. So if you put it right here, you see how it fits right up in there. We're gonna use the conical part right here. I found it better to just use this end and just hammer on that. And I swapped out the rubber mallet for actual hammer, because it was on metal, and light hit, like 2 hits, and it was in. So that's all I used. I guess 11, a hammer, piece of wood, and a rubber mallet before, just to go ahead and help it keep straight. Now that the bearing is in, and this is already cleaned up off some grease, the old grease, I'm gonna go ahead and use this on it. So pretty much lightly lube up right here. Not a lot, just a little bit, so that way when it goes on the transmission, the engine, it slides on pretty easy. So not a lot of grease, but just a little bit. Alright, so here we got the release bearing, and this is the old one. This thing was like bad. This one still stuck on there or whatever. They ain't gliding around. One thing I realized, like, if you take it and you shake it left to right, it almost sounds like the rattling when a car, think of like how it's supposed to sound when the engine's on, it's like rattling. So I wonder if I could put a little grease right here and keep that from going down, or what. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. I guess hit in the comments, see what your thoughts on that. I'm gonna try it and see. I doubt it'll do much difference. If I do it like this on my hand and add the grease and it quiets it down, then I'll do it in the car, or else I just wipe it off. But we'll see. Yeah, I tried it. I just finished wiping off the grease. It did not quiet it down. It helped a little bit, but it wasn't enough of a benefit to continue going ahead and put grease on the sides where it made contact with the metal. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and install this now. Oh yeah, so it's all in right now. So we good to go. So it's it's a little bit of lightning and all that stuff. It's looking kind of breezy. But yeah, I was gonna go ahead and chain this up and get it ready to go inside the car, but I don't want to go ahead and start putting it out and start dumping rain and all that stuff. I ain't trying to get electrocuted or get wet right now. So yeah, I'm gonna try to finish this up tomorrow. So the whole main goal of tomorrow is just to go ahead and get this motor in. Well, thanks for viewing this far. I got some more videos I'm gonna be dropping soon. Like I have got like a stockpile. I don't know, I just don't release. It's just sitting there. But yeah, I'm gonna release some, and yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.